So which politician claimed we're all middle class now? It was John Prescott.
Oh, Gail and I were just saying, there is something. We love John Prescott.
But do you know what I always wanted? Do you know when they projected my bottom onto the Houses of Parliament? I always wished that John Prescott had put his head out just at the wrong, point, at the wrong time. What's going on? He could have been, you know, part of my body.
It would have been brilliant.
It could have been a big pile.
That's like, yeah, John Prescott.
This is the right stuff. Talking of piles, this is a pile of knowledge, though, I have to say. John Amici is here from BBC Two's The Speaker. Gail is here, as you know, and so is Dominic. Later on, we'll be asking, have you got a life plan? Milestones you have to reach by a certain age. Married by 25, baby by 27, missed out on all of those. A certain house, a certain job. Does it mean you can focus on your goals if you make a plan? Or is it just setting you up for a fall if you don't manage to achieve all of that? 0207 173 5555 is the number, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. For now, though, we're asking this question. What is wrong with being middle class? Nearly half of us say we're slap bang in the middle of the British class system, but not Hollywood megastar Kate Winslet. She told Marie Claire magazine that despite being well-spoken and a millionaire, she's resolutely working class. In fact, she looks gorgeous in that set of photos,
really
doesn't
pretty.
she?
Sorry.
Yeah, her hair's
Sorry,
lighter and everything, isn't it?
Stop her right here.
Oh, sorry! Sorry! In fact, it has made a difference to her, though.
Yeah,
in fact, she's annoyed when people doubt that she was brought up in a working-class family who had to struggle for money. And we're not the only ones who've noticed how Kate likes to stress her working-class roots.
I always cook a big lunch on a Sunday because that's what normal mums do. I don't have a team of nannies like some Hollywood super. I'm a normal mum. 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 I'm very down to earth. My kids just go out to play on a Sunday. You know, I just let them go. I don't know where they are. I haven't seen them for days because that's just normal.
Brilliant, isn't it? It's Katie Brand. Yeah, that was Katie Brand. But why is her namesake, Kate Winslet, always so quick to point out her woman of the people credentials? Is there something shameful about being middle class? If you use traditional class markers like having a university education, more of us are middle class than ever before, if you rely on that. Yet a poll by Mori found that 2/3 of British adults say they're working class and proud. Celebs like Jamie Oliver and Guy Ritchie speak like Cockneys. They love their local boozers quite a lot. In fact, Guy's bought one. All while coming from fairly respectable backgrounds. It seems it is cooler now to be working class than middle class. Maybe we think of middle class as being boring, suburban, bland, while the working class is edgier, more real, more hard-working. Surely in this day and age, though, we should be proud that we've worked hard and can call ourselves middle class. I'm glad it's changed, John. I remember back when I was younger and used to go out to like family gatherings and things, and people used to say, what does your father do for a living? They never actually asked what you did. It was what your father did that determined what class you came from. I'm so glad that that's been wiped out now.
I'm not sure it's been completely wiped out, but I think I agree with you that it is nice that we don't get judged on necessarily on those criteria, but I don't understand it. I mean, my mum was a doctor, but she was a single parent, 3 children. We hurtled back to this country after a very difficult divorce for her with nothing. And we started all over again. I do remember that she went hungry so that we didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm middle class now. Wouldn't it be insulting to people to suggest I played professional sports for 15 years and I'm
but why
just
should
like
we
you?
all be branded like that anyway? We're who we are, aren't we? I wouldn't care whether you're middle class, upper class, working class. If you're a decent, nice person, which you clearly are, then, you know, it doesn't matter, does it? Oh, you are.
But in the scheme of the criteria we can judge people on, we always seem to choose the worst ones. When we go with, you know, race or sexual orientation or religion, these criteria are really poor. They're so broad, and class included, to decide, oh, I like you or I don't like you because of that. When we should really be making more effort, meeting people, and then deciding we don't like them.
But people do need to shortcut, though, don't they, John? They need to shortcut and pigeonhole people so they get, you know, they have an idea
box
of who
them
they
in.
are. Yeah.
But it's so dangerous, though. I mean, it's so dangerous to do that. Even when I played basketball, that we would end games, and all arenas are built in really bad neighbourhoods, and we'd end games, and because the land is cheaper, and I would walk out at night, and you'd see people who just watched me play basketball, who'd just been climbing all over me to try and get my autograph. You'd see them see me in the distance, and they'd be like, "That's a massive black person, and it's night time." And you'd see them cross the street.
Yeah, they're still...
And then when it got to about 5 metres away, they'd be like, "Oh, that's an NBA player," and then they'd cross back. Because black people are dangerous, but black people who play professional sports are really safe, apparently. So these broad
and that
criteria...
still happens. You come back from any, you know, trip abroad or stuff, I never get pulled aside. It's usually someone who's black or, you know, Asian or... And also out on the streets, policemen doing random speed checks. The colours gathered in the lay-by are very, you know, often not white. So there's still a lot of prejudice out there. That,
Certainly.
Yeah. Does that make you feel?
I think it's. I mean, it's irritating to me, but this. I mean, to get back to this one, I think the class one is just such a poor criteria, and I think it's disingenuous to suggest that someone with millions and millions of pounds and a lifestyle that's very, very different from what most working class people.
I think Kate has to get used to the fact that she's not working class anymore, despite her roots. The reason why she does it is it's cool to struggle. And if you're perceived as being privileged with, you know, like in the acting world, nepotism reigns, the fact that she's not got famous forebears should be enough for her to have the confidence to just be Kate Winslet. She's won Oscars and she's regarded and revered.
But isn't it nice in a way that she wants to be seen as working class still? And
no, I think it's naff.
It's self-serving.
I think it's naff. I think it's really naff. I think she should be proud of being successful. And middle-class people are always down on themselves. We pay all the tax, keep the country going. We should be thanked.
But class isn't yeah. But isn't class about the person you are? Because I know, you know, my dad used to fix tellies, and I've ended up on telly by some strange fluke.
So it was nepotism then with you?
Yeah, it was nepotism. He did actually. Do you know what? He once fixed Dora Bryan's television set. Do you remember Dora Bryan?
I don't actually.
No,
That's my age.
you know, do you? There are some people in the audience who remember Dora Bryan.
No,
She's still alive down in Brighton. He doesn't fix tellies anymore.
But the whole thing is it's cool. I mean, Ben Elton's a brilliant example of a very academic family. Ben's a brilliantly clever guy. But to listen to Ben, you think you'd never been to school in his life. But he did that cleverly because there is more currency in being down with the kids.
But what I'm saying is that it doesn't change the person you are. And I went to a really rough school, and I get really angry. And now I live in a really nice area, but it depresses me, the arrogance of these people who do very definitely see themselves as middle class and have all the 4x4s. Their children all go to private school.
Where are you? Are you middle class or working
I'm classless. I honestly don't want to brand myself.
Class, Fiona, there we are.
Well, no, but you might label me that. But in my heart and my soul, I still remember where I came from. And
Well,
will never
there's
ever
nothing wrong with
leave
that.
me. No, but then I don't want to brand myself.
It's a good thing. Remember where you come from is very important.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
You know, I live in London. I live above a shop in a flat.
Not Harrods.
It's not Harrods. It's not Harrods. It's not Harrods. But and in Clapham, it's nice, but it's not. You know, a lot of the kids who come and contact me when I tell them they ask where I live, and they're like, really? That's it? But it's not because I'm trying to be something different. It's because
no, but there's two
we're in
kinds
a
of
recession.
classes. There's people who work and pay tax. There's people who don't. That's
No,
it.
but there's people who wear it as well. Like people who think, well, I've got a bit of money, I'm going to get an Aston Martin, and I'm going to show that I've got status and class.
Sure.
And there are other people I wouldn't dream of buying a flashy car, or to say, oh, I've done well for myself, haven't I? I'm middle class. You know, what I'm saying is, it's more about the person you are.
Yeah, quite.
Than what you've got. And
yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
yeah, should we get a gown? Would you?
No, I just completely agree. I don't. You
Yeah,
asked me in the
exactly.
break, well, what class are you? I've got absolutely no idea.
Absolutely no idea.
I don't really care. As long as I get on with people and people like me, and I can afford to pay for myself and look after my daughter, then I don't
care what
don't
people
put me
think.
in any category.
Absolutely. Amy's in a booth, not a category, and she's got some call.
I wouldn't know. What would this job classify as? I've got no idea. Working class? I don't know. Anyway, we've got Laura on line 1.